Hello. Good
Hi,
afternoon.
good afternoon.
How how are you, Jody?
I'm doing great. I'm
Good, good.
fantastic.
Excellent, excellent. So, folks, I have a wonderful guest with us today. As you all know, my name is Yves Richard Blanc. I'm with Blanc Global Dynamism. I am an affiliated partner with Turing Video. As you all know, they are a technology company specializing in AI and robotics, health and security technology out of California. I am your host here in Buffalo, New York. Believe it or not, they're predicting snow tomorrow, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed. That's not going to be the case. And we're in late spring now, but we're excited. We're happy. We're here fighting COVID every single day, providing great information to our customers. And you guys know how much I love this partnership with Turing, and I'm so blessed that I have one of the young rising stars at Turing joining me today to share some great information with you all. Her name is Jody Rogers. She's out of California, and she's got some incredible information to share with us. We're going to put her on the grill there. We're going to grill her so she can give us the best information to share with everybody. Good afternoon, Jody, and welcome to SafeCom.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Jody. I know you've been in the technology marketing field for quite a bit of time. You have a great understanding of the field. Tell us about you individually, first and foremost, prior. That includes your career at Turing, but also your history of understanding technology.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have been in tech for about 10 years. I absolutely fell in love with startups. I love the startup culture and the ability to really bring the most innovative technologies to market. I absolutely love innovation. I've had the pleasure of bringing new technologies to some of the largest companies in the world that are working on the most complex challenges. So it's always such a pleasure and so rewarding to be able to educate and open their eyes on how they can solve some of their biggest pain points in new ways and ways that they've never thought about, and really open up their eyes to the art of the possible that innovation really unlocks.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the key word, right? Innovation.
Mm-hmm.
And as we all know, for example, Turing just keeps innovating all the time. And that's why I'm so really excited about this partnership and educating executives, educating any individual that's really involved. Now, with the onset of COVID, again, it has been that word, technology, that's really helped out a lot of our clients.
That's correct. Yeah. So a question I get asked a lot is, what is Turing? What do we do at Turing?
Right.
Prior to COVID, we were doing AI-enabled, IoT-enabled solutions around safety and security. So using very complex machine learning, deep learning models and applying them to areas such as video analytics, robotic patrol, and then when COVID came along, we actually had the opportunity to take our thermal detection and apply it to a form factor the size of an iPhone. Because we needed to get back on site and help our customers. We wanted to get, into these very interesting projects we were working on. And just like every other organization, we needed to find a way to safely get our customers back to work so we could continue our work in this innovative space. So we actually came up with our own contact-free thermal scanning devices. We call it the Turing Shield. Yeah, and it's just so interesting because we're a technology company using the most advanced technology in this space. We can provide so much more value to our customers outside of just temperature screening.
Right. Now, obviously, you do a lot more than temperature screening, right?
Yes.
But right now, we are in April. We are in the third week of April. It's been well over a year with COVID. We've had a lot of great successes over the last year, right? And I know a number of companies that have, the majority of their staff, their executive, their employees have been working from home. They're going to start reopening a lot of these centers around the country and some even around the world. Now, is there a need to still do temperature checking for COVID?
Yes.
And please tell me why.
Yes, absolutely. There's so many reasons. I could give you millions and millions of reasons.
We'll start with a few today.
Lots of reasons. And that's a question that, you and I get asked every day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, we're working with some of the largest corporations in the US, and like you said, they have to reopen facilities all over the US. They're working with different restrictions, and that's something I get asked every day. Do we still need to conduct temperature checks? When the perception is that cases are going down and a lot of restrictions are being rolled back, all over the place in work facilities, in public. A lot of indoor dining has reopened. There's a lot of areas where mask restrictions are being rolled back. But I would absolutely say, yes, we should be doing temperature screening, especially in the workplace.
Okay. So someone tells you, well, we'll use a state, for example, like Alabama or Texas or Michigan or New York State or New Jersey, for that matter. They'll say, well, listen, our restrictions are not that bad here. We want to bring our people back. We want to make sure that they're able to work freely. They can come as they please. I think that this may not be the right investment for us right now. What do we say to someone like this, particularly what is the benefit for them to continue to do health temperature screenings right now?
Yeah, so there's a lot of reasons, and it really comes down to the health of the business and the health of employees, which are interrelated. So in order to have a strong employee wellness program, first of all, we have to get through COVID. And every organization should absolutely have temperature measures as part of their written COVID policy. That's, at the end of the day, going to protect those organizations and really protect their employees. So we're seeing a lot of restrictions rolled back, and a lot of people are letting down their guard. So, individual attitude towards temperature screening or health screening is one thing. But when you're looking at the collective health of your employees and the business, you still have to be vigilant with your screening policies. It's more important now than ever with all of the OSHA fines that are rolling out. I mean, on your LinkedIn, you posted about a tax company who just got hit with a major fine. So we're seeing a lot of OSHA citations under the new NED program. So for the health of the business, it's absolutely essential. And for employee wellness, it is as well, because there's so many factors why it should be included as a key measure. We know that having a fever is one of the most prevalent symptoms if you have COVID. And it could be prevalent for a lot of other infectious diseases as well. So it's not just related to COVID, it's related to so many other things. And in order to keep your employees healthy and productive, you should be screening for temperatures.
Okay, good. So then once we get the screening done, what are some of the additional benefits, since Turing is a technology company? So what is the correlation in terms of really keeping that data? Because I know that, part of our strength and the strength of really collecting the information is the data. Talk to us a little bit about that and why it's so important, because Now, once you have this data, what can we do with it? What can a company do to protect itself? And how does it benefit the employees as well?
Sure. And that, that's part of it. It's all about the data. If you're not screening for temperatures, how can you trust your data? And if you're not using a device that is reliable, you can't really trust your data either. So Turing, we're providing the most advanced thermal technology. So you're going to get an accurate reading every time, and you're going to get data that you can trust, and you can use that to guide a more accurate policy. Because if you're not screening at the front door, how do you even trust the policy you have in place? So you really need to be taking temperatures to have a well-advised policy internally, and you need to do that so your employees feel safe. We talk to companies all the time that ask the question, "Do I need to conduct temperature screening?" And I would turn that question around and ask your employees, do your employees want to come to work if you're not screening the employees that they have to be around? Prior to COVID, I don't think any workplace was taking temperatures, but we probably lost a lot of productivity because of flu and other viruses. So I think, at least with my customers, it's really opening their eyes to employee wellness in general, and moving forward with an employee wellness policy that's more fair for employees, because it's hard for employees to take time, and there's kind of a stigma attached to it that if you do have to take time off, maybe you're not working hard enough, or kind of like the stigma of, oh, just suck it up, or power through. And that's not really a fair policy in the workplace. So doing these health checks at the door going forward is just going to create a healthier environment for employees. And I think that is something that organizations have really become aware of with COVID. It's opened their eyes to so much more about what we could be doing for employees. And then going back to your question about, in addition to temperature screening, what other value is Turing providing in our kiosks? And it's not just temperature. So temperature would only be one measure that you could record through Turing, but really you could be screening for other symptoms as well. You could simply be asking, are you feeling well today? Do you feel safe today at work? You could be encouraging communication with your employees directly around your health screening policy. So you can be capturing acknowledgments that the employees are aware of your internal policy, and they've accepted the terms. So that's, again, something that can protect your business. And like you said, it's all about the data. So we are working with companies nationally across the US, and they're all faced with different restrictions and different workplace policies. So Turing can actually help you automate those policies wherever you're located, and you can manage and access the data under one pane of glass centrally. So that's key, because in today's world, with all the OSHA citations and all the COVID related litigation, you really need to have instant access to that data to protect the business at the end of the day. And Turing's providing that.
Yeah. So, I mean, that is terrific. So now, as have we seen a change in the mindset when it comes to temperature checks or collecting the data, as more and more people throughout the U.S. are becoming vaccinated? Is that something that we run across, that they're thinking that this type of technology is currently not needed anymore? Have you heard about that? And why should we feel that even if you're vaccinated, what are the benefits that Turing can bring to a company or to a corporation?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how it is for you, Eves, but in my county, we only have about a 20% vaccination rate, and our community rate of transmission for COVID still remains really high. So we need to, as a nation, get to a really high level of vaccination for everyone to be really safe from COVID or from getting it. And at the same time, we still have to remain vigilant so that we don't continue to spread it and create new variants. And at the same time, I mean, there's no, how are companies going to mandate that employees have to be vaccinated, or
Right.
what's that going to look like, or how are schools going to mandate those policies? So that's a really complicated subject, and I don't know if we'll meet the percentage that's going to be required for
Right.
to really keep these transmission rates down.
Right.
So it's going to take time. When you look at the data, COVID is going to be a thorn in our side for a while. So the customers that I have, they love the Turing kiosks. I get the feedback that the kiosks are here to stay for a while,
Right.
because it does protect from outbreaks in the workplace and other viruses as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, you're looking at, even if it's not COVID, during the flu season, people have symptoms all the time. And because we wore masks for about a year, we've been, much more sensitive to folks around us washing our hands and wearing masks. Even the flu season was one of the lightest ones that we had last year. And so far this year, it's been very, very good, again, because of that protection and making sure. So certainly as things relax, if you're able to really capture that kind of data and information, certainly the productivity of your employees, if you can better manage who's sick, who's not, then you get really a good return on investment, because people will work, they'll be more productive, and also they'll be protected. So having said that, now we know there is still a great need for this type of capturing of the data. Now, tell us, we're talking about
absolutely from a business sense too. I mean, as restrictions are rolled back, and we're seeing this kind of like a burnout, or people don't even want to talk about COVID anymore. They want to move past it. However, like, as your employees go out and engage in behaviors that can, raise their rate of exposure, and then they're bringing that exposure back into the workplace, and that is opening up the workplace to a higher rate of risk, because people aren't being as vigilant, like you said, with all of those other activities. They're taking the masks off. They're not using the hand sanitizer as much as they used to, back in the fall or in 2020. So all that exposure is really bringing the enterprise to a higher level of risk. And so that's why it's really important for them to remain vigilant and really continue to track these key measures.
So as an enterprise, someone who's listening to our conversation here, why should they pick up the phone or shoot us an email and start to have a conversation with us if they don't have these kind of measures in place, and if they're not consistent about what they want to do going forward with their company? Why should they pick up the phone now or reach out to us to really get more information?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, deploying a Turing kiosk could be the easiest solution to get them compliant and to protect their employees and to protect their business. All of the Turing kiosks are super easy to deploy. I get great customer feedback all the time about how easy it is to use and manage, and that's how we designed it. We designed it to really limit the human interaction needed to install and manage it. It will automate your process across different regions. So depending on what requirements you have in your local jurisdiction or state, we'll be able to design a custom solution for you, so that you're covered in any area, and it's super easy to deploy. So you're going to really protect your employees and your business in the easiest, simple way.
Okay. So that's also very good. Now, you did mention that these OSHA fines are increasing. Tell us a little bit more about that, because I mean, obviously, this is not directed at the employees, but really
Hmm.
primarily the issue is going to be a concern of the company. But
Hmm.
certainly, if a company is not within guidelines, is not really prepared, not doing all the things that they need to do,
Hmm.
eventually it could start affecting the employees, because
Hmm.
then you're talking about, maybe people getting laid off and other things that can happen that can be a
Hmm.
negative to the employees. Tell us a little bit more about that and why a Turing could be a great partner to help these companies better manage those kind of issues.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if a work site has over 10 cases, that's considered a major outbreak and they can get shut down by OSHA. So like you mentioned, that's going to be a huge hit to revenue. That's massive fines. The business is going to lose a lot of revenue at that point. So if they're not, if they don't have a strong written COVID screening policy, and if
Mhm.
they're not feeling making their employees feel protected, and also if they're failing to communicate about that policy and all of the due diligence they're doing to protect their employees, they
Mhm.
are really opening up themselves to a lot of risk because um, as many people who want COVID to be done and over with, and they're burnt out from all the safety protocols, there are still a lot of people out there who are taking it very serious and do want to feel safe if they have to go to work.
Right.
So they're also going to be very, very careful while they're at work, and they're gonna raise their hand if they don't feel safe. And enterprises need to listen to that feedback. They need to ask for that feedback. They need to acknowledge it. They need to explain what they're doing to help those employees feel safe at work.
Mhm.
So that is key to making sure that their employees feel safe and reassured. And Turing can help them do all of that. We can deploy our kiosks. We call it Turing Shield. It will screen for temperature checks, health checks. It will also facilitate communication around the employee policies. And we can also do a demo for internally for employees to see how much that company is investing in their health and wellness. I mean, I love my customers. I can't tell you how many family owned businesses to some of the largest enterprises in the world that I work with, and
Mhm.
they're so passionate about health and safety, and they love sharing this information with their own employees. And on top of it, we make it a really easy experience for the employees so that they want to do it, and they also feel really reassured while they're at work. So I love talking to my customers about the feedback of our machines. I get great feedback on how easy they are to use, and it makes people feel really reassured at work that they're in a safe environment.
Yeah, I mean that's really key, because if you have a safe environment, your employees are excited about their health, they feel secured.
Mhm.
Automatically, you're looking at better production, which means the bottom line is better. And so
Right.
most corporations will think this is a win-win for them.
Hmm.
Obviously, there is an investment in the process in getting the technology, getting it implemented, getting it supported, and so forth. But I would think that most of our clients, most of your clients, you've
Hmm.
seen some really great returns as a result, and you've gotten great feedback from them, correct?
Hmm. Correct. Yeah. And going back to um, Turing as a tech company, our engineers are developing new features all the time that go beyond the kiosk. So I'm really excited for our customers to take advantage of all those features we're developing. I mean, as vaccine programs are coming out in our portal, or vaccine passports actually.
Right.
So we're just coming out with new features all the time so that enterprises can really have a stronger health and wellness program and really protect their business at the end of the day.
So it makes it really, really simple because you're able to really, really collect all that data. Again, we're back, with that word, but information is really power. Information is really, this is the way that you can best support, your whole team, your whole employee force, and protect really the most valuable component of most enterprise companies is their employees, because without those employees, those minds, the health and wellness of those individuals, they can't continue to produce every day, right?
Right.
And so again, it seems to me, as you're explaining this, it makes perfect sense to have that data and really manage it very, very well. Now, you were talking about OSHA. Again, I want to go back and really touch up on this. Have you seen a pattern or a focus in OSHA really coming back in force and really enforcing a lot of those guidelines that have been pretty loose around? And is there a difference between the state level in terms of compliance to the federal compliances that we have to adhere to? And how are your customers really navigating those two governmental entities?
Sure. Yeah. So of course you have your state guidance, but no, OSHA is federal. So OSHA received a lot of money from the new administration, and they are ramping up efforts to ensure that employees are safe on the job site. So they're targeting high risk environments. So environments where employees naturally have to work closer together, or like manufacturing environments around, food production, nursing facilities. So areas of high risk. And they're also evaluating workplaces where there have been employee whistleblowers as well. So they're ramping up efforts to make sure that employees are safe on the job site, and that is at a federal level. So with my customers, I'm walking them through the new information so that they understand it, and they understand, what the most important action items are, so that they can be prepared. And again, if it's really making sure you have a written policy in place with key measures, and temperature taking should be a part of that to show that you are doing everything you can to make sure your workplace is safe. So written policy is key, but they really need to share that information with their employees and get that acknowledgement from their employees that they have read that policy and that they understand it. And employees need to feel safe enough to communicate if they have any concerns. So things that employers could do, they could have an anonymous hotline where employees can share any concerns they have. There could be an email alias where they could submit feedback or concerns. And the employers really need to acknowledge those concerns and share what they're doing to address them. And it could also be a perception issue. Maybe they have addressed it, but they just didn't communicate how they did that. Yeah. So communication is key.
Okay. So what is the best way that you've seen your clients have been able to communicate? So let's say a company, have implemented all these things, right? What is the best way you've seen them implement and or share the communication with their employees?
Well, communication should be frequent, but the written policy does need to be shared, and employees do need to acknowledge it. And as guidance changes or as the policy changes, they should be submitting that information to the employees. And also Turing, we can actually submit it electronically when employees come in for the day to do their health screening. We can actually push it out through our kiosk. Employees can acknowledge, yes, we can. They can acknowledge that they've, read that policy, they understand it before they take their health screening at the door.
That's pretty amazing. So you need to tell me that you can set it up that as they walk up to the kiosk, the information will be set up so that they'll be able to read it right there on the screen, have a good understanding of the guidelines, the policy, and they'll be able to kind of like check it off right there on the kiosk.
Well, yeah. So we would actually push it to their mobile phone, so they would be able to read it
Oh,
on their phone,
right.
and then they would accept, yeah, and then they would take the screening.
Got you. So that would provide an additional level of privacy, I would think,
Mhm.
and
Yes.
make it a little bit more easier for them to kind of
Right.
like really get the information and work with it. Now, who at the company really creates the policy? Is it the head of HR? Is it their corporate general counsel, or is it an outside counsel? How is that normally put together? Any
Yeah,
idea?
I mean, you know, there's so many committees these days, and
Yeah.
it's really going to be the COVID task force.
Right.
But as you know, I mean, there are still some organizations who are very sensitive to employee data,
Right.
and they do want to keep data private. Which, by the way, Turing, we can keep the information private. We don't have to attach any personal information. So you can still screen employees, and you can be alerted in real time if anyone has a fever, or you can get alerted. You can get reporting for all the health questionnaires. We can really work with any department that is on that COVID task force, whether they're HR, legal, compliance, operations, safety, security, and we can make sure that, you know, we address their concerns and design the system the way that they require it.
It sounds almost like it's a custom shop. You're really creating for each enterprise specifically what they're looking for to be successful.
We have some great engineers.
Yeah, that's so. What about the support? Once this is all set up, again, we're talking about technology, we're talking about data, we're talking about storage, and we're talking about security, right? And so once that happens and all these things come into place, how is the support system within Turing?
Yeah, I mean, Turing really provides the support you would expect from any enterprise company or any enterprise class solution. So that's, you know, that's another great distinction about Turing. Because we are a tech company in the Bay Area, we're providing technology to our customers that they would expect, you know, from any world-class technology company. With that, you get Turing support.
Mhm.
Our customer success team is amazing. They set up orientation and training for all of our customers, so that you really feel confident in using and managing our solutions. They are very easy and very intuitive, but we do set up extensive training so you feel really comfortable using and managing the systems. And they don't get off the phone with you until you feel comfortable. They work on anything to make it easier for you to use or more customized, and they're available ongoing. So we have an awesome support team. You can call or email them directly with any questions, and they are very responsive. And usually we see implementation is where we get the most questions and feedback, but that's why we schedule those very thorough training calls with our customers. So yeah, customer support at Turing rocks.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Jody, you have been so awesome. I think you've answered the really pressing question today. With the way that we are with COVID right now, do we still need these temperature checks? And I think you've answered that question 100%. Yes, we still need it. We still need to be connected with these enterprises, with the employees, and really making sure that these employees are safe, particularly with all these different guidelines. Now, you did mention that things are a little bit different in every state. Can you share a success story on how things were different from one of your clients to another, or an enterprise client that you have or you're working with that have multiple sites around the country? Can you share some ideas with us? Because I am sure there are companies that are listening to what's going on now who say, hey, listen, our parent company, our headquarters are in Chicago, yet we have several facilities in Texas, in Oklahoma, in California. We're seeing total different guidelines throughout these states. How can you help a company like that?
Yeah, of course. So I mean, we're so lucky. The customers that seek us out, they want the best in class for their employee health, and they are looking for the best technology, and that's what we're providing. And so with that, we're going to help you really solve for what you need in your workplace. So we will meet with you. We'll provide a consultation. We'll learn about the areas that you're located in prior to meeting with you. And we'll come to the table with a very customized proposal of how Turing can get you to easily automate your screening process in each of those locations. So our customers really rely on us for our expertise, and we can customize different solutions for each location. However, they can still access the data and manage it under one centralized pane of glass. So, it's very easy, very automated. And then they have all of the data at their fingertips. And it's very easy to adjust those protocols as things changes. So, maybe there's mask rollbacks. Guess what? You just log into your portal and we can swipe off the mask reminders. Maybe there's one state where they're seeing issues around data privacy. That's fine. We can separate personal information from the data, or we can, keep it completely anonymized. Maybe there's one state where they want every employee to have access based on whether or not they pass or fail a temperature screening. So we can make sure that no one can access their swipes, their badge access swipes, unless they've passed a temperature screening.
So wow, that's highly customized.
Right. Right.
It really is. So
right.
Wow, this has been an education for us. So Jody, I know how busy you are. You have customers all over the country. And you are a rising star. I say this about you all the time. So I'm so grateful to have you on as a guest with us and to really educate a lot of our followers, folks who are coming in and really looking for solutions, who are looking for answers in these difficult times. So I am very, very grateful that you took out a few minutes to share with us. Any last advice or answers you'd like to share with our followers?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, you're going back to your original question about why include temperature screening. And again, it's the most important thing is it's all about the data. And if you don't have that, how can you guide your wellness policy at work? And just like any other solution that our enterprise companies are trying to solve for, you need the data. So it's all about faster data. It's getting more data so you can solve your challenges faster and more accurately. So Turing is definitely here to help you get access to accurate data, more accurate data faster, so you can really drive the most accurate policy for your employee wellness.
Wonderful. Well, I want to thank you very, very much. And I know that we were very much looking forward to having this conversation with you. And of course, you hit the ball out of the park. Just a lot of great information. And we're grateful for the time that you've been able to spend with us.
It was my pleasure. Anytime.
All right. Terrific. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Take care.
Take care. Again, thank you very much for being with us with the show. I mean, the information we're able to share today has been amazing. I have learned so much today. Again, our thought process is, as things are changing around the country, more people are getting vaccinated, more people understand what the protocols are, more people have a better understanding, but also it leaves us open that folks now are thinking that there is not a crisis still going on. There is still a need. People are still, there are certain regions around the country that the numbers keep climbing up. So we still need to be careful. We still need to work. And I want to talk to really the key executives at these companies out there. If you're looking for information, you have a better understanding of what you need to do, please contact us. We would love to share some of this information with you. We would love to connect you with the right people at Turing, so that way we can really have that conversation at a very high level with you and really customize something that we believe will be perfect for you in your specific situation and or the state that you're part of. So we're excited that you're able to join us. Please like our page, register, and please bang heavily on that bell, because that way we'll be able to get you that information. We'll be there consistently. Please not only follow us, but share the information with your network. Get them to follow us as well. We're going to be here every single week, really sharing some quality information around COVID, around health screenings, around health and safety. And we're going to try and get the best guests aboard so that they can share their expertise around health and safety. I am your host, Yves Richard Blanc with Blanc Global Diabonism, and we're grateful that you were able to join us for another episode of SafeCom. Thank you very much, and we look forward to our next episode.